concerned about on the traffic report has to do with the Chiron's evacuation plan that they're using or whatever. Excavation. I'm sorry. There goes
the labs have already leaked.
Yeah, really. They're evacuating the soil anyway. We didn't get everything here in the packet, and I know you've seen it, and it alludes to some other things, and they were probably discussed at the traffic committee meeting. I'm concerned about what restrictions have been put on them in terms of time. Could you let me know that?
Well, they're still bound by the hours of operation that were agreed to during the development approval, starting no earlier than 7 o'clock. And as far as the dirt moving operation,
that's what I want to talk about.
Yeah, they're really controlled by the traffic conditions. They will not be. They'll be starting at 7 o'clock and getting one run in. They'll probably have to make their second run in the afternoon, but they're counting on 2 runs for each of their trucks on a daily basis.
Can't those be done after rush hour in the morning and before rush hour in the afternoon, leaving out the noon gap? I mean,
they are leaving out the noon gap.
Okay, can't there be like a 9 o'clock run and a 2 o'clock run that's done by 3 or 4? I mean, I just think even a 7 o'clock.
You're dealing with a real round the horn kind of trip for them to dispose of the dirt too, where they're prohibited from using 580 for trucks. They're prohibited from using the Caldecott Tunnel, and they've really got to go around about the horn to dispose of the dirt.
Where are they going from here?
Well, it's likely that they'll be probably going to Altamont, but they haven't agreed on. To my knowledge, they haven't made any final agreement on where they're going to be delivering the dirt.
So what? Well,
yeah, if I might add, they are very concerned, as we are, that they don't disrupt traffic, and the traffic committee reviewed that and basically said the worst time is the PM peak followed by the noon peak. The morning, there's really not much traffic on the streets, and that seemed to be an all right time for them to be moving their vehicles. Although they'll be loading up in the morning, they probably miss the 7 to 9 shift or traffic, and we'll be leaving after that.
I don't understand about the morning. It's not much of a problem. I mean, all I do in the morning is drive down to Powell Street and try to get onto the freeway and fight my way across the freeway to get to Oakland. And there are many mornings when I can't do that because the freeway is jammed up, and I typically leave anywhere from 8:15 in the morning until as late as 9:15. That seems to be the time range that I'm going. There are many times that I've got to either give up the freeway altogether because it's so crowded and stay on Powell Street and go up to Martin Luther King, or on other times where I've got to go up the frontage road and use Ashby to get it totally around the bottleneck that's created here at Powell Street during the morning rush hour. So I think that's a greater problem if you introduce a large number of trucks. I mean, if they're out of there by 7:30, maybe it's not a problem.
Well, they're not going to be out of there by 7:30.
Well, I'll tell you, I mean,
they have. My last understanding was that they're going to have on the order of 30 trucks that are going to be dispatched, pending again on traffic, probably on a 10-minute basis.
Yeah. See,
and even when they're heading south, they'll probably have to head north on 80 to eventually wend their way around south.
What do you mean north on 80?
North on 80 and over on Highway 4.
Oh, so you don't see them coming underneath the 80 freeway and
No.
making a left turn and going onto the freeway?
No.
Well,
No.
If that's eliminated, that will solve a lot of problems.
They're not. That is not part of their plan.
That's not on the plan here.
Well, I couldn't tell what was going to happen. They just said where they were going to, what streets they were going to use. I couldn't tell where they're going to go when they hit the freeway. All right, if I'm assured that they're not going to come up Powell Street and then make a left turn out on the freeway to go out there with the morning rush hour traffic, and they're going to go north instead.
That's the latest. Okay. That's the latest information we have.
Well, just in case that changes, I I just ask you to be vigilant and watching that doesn't get
Well,
changed.
they're as anxious to avoid the
Okay.
rush hour as
Okay.
anybody else, and more so.
Because one of our big morning problems is you get the people making the left turn, and it's really gotten bad out there because with them putting up the Caltrans putting up that concrete barricade to allow trucks to dump or pick up or whatever they're doing between the barricade and the bay. That has made that a very tight funnel coming out of Powell Street. You've got basically 3 lanes now funneling down to 1. There was some flexibility there before. That's not there anymore. All it takes is a little backup on the Bay Bridge to totally slow that whole 3-lane, merge that has to occur. And so what happens is that people not anticipating that, making a left turn coming westbound on Powell Street to get onto the freeway, find themselves out blocking the intersection. And then people trying to avoid the freeway and go under there are stuck missing a light sequence because they can't get through the intersection. And I've seen several problems associated with that. And Joe, I think it's something that your team's
Let
going to have
me
to keep
just
close
try
eye
to
on.
put your mind a little bit at ease. I share all your concerns, and as Hank pointed out, that they all plan to go northbound, or what they describe as east, on Interstate 80. But we've also got excellent working relationship with the construction site supervisor, and at any point where we detect, and we'll have officers out watching, at any point where we detect congestion, we just queue them at the site. In other words, they'll stage at the site, and they won't let them out on the city streets. So we've got a lot of cooperation, a lot of controls in place, that if we see that there's something unusual happening on the freeway or on Powell Street, we just stop the movement.